Hey, yo, everybody, welcome to the Amalgam Games Lab. I am your host, Shannon Hagler, alongside Keena Johnston. Thanks for that. Thanks for the backup. We have subscribers now, and this is what you bring to the table. God almighty.
No, I honestly can't think of anything to say.
Yeah, well, you know.
Which is what I usually say, but I didn't say it this time, but then I said it.
Yeah, that's super weird. But hey, you know. We have subscribers now. Thank you.
Yay, thank you. We finally have youtube.com/theamalgamshow.
Yeah.
Which is just easy to say.
Exactly, yeah. youtube.com/theamalgamshow. We have got also our all our social media at The Amalgam Show, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And we're now on iTunes.
Yes.
We got an Apple iTunes. We're a proper podcast.
Yes. We've got to figure out how to syndicate that out elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're also on Spotify.
Yes.
So the two main platforms, we're there. I can't subscribe. Oh, no, I can. The podcast app I use on Android, it uses the iTunes database.
Yeah, as do a lot of them use that. They pull
like
from
it
the
directly
iTunes.
uses it, but I know like other ones can go
Can use different
specifically
ones,
to
but
those apps.
So yeah, check us out there. If you do like what you see, leave a like below, comment, and subscribe. Please. Alrighty, let's get into it. What have you been playing this weekend?
I finished Final Fantasy IX.
You told me about that. How did you go? What was it like?
It's really, really, really good.
It's a really good game.
Really enjoyed it. Like
It's good.
to the point where like it's so good that my housemate was coming in and out because of playing it in docked mode.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I'm attached to these characters that
Yes,
I
yes.
am not like super paying attention to the story of.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, no, it is really good. Like I don't know. And like I would tell her like stuff that she'd missed, like, oh, the stuff with Terra happened and blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh yeah, because that was her biggest concern. Just like, why is Zidane a monkey boy? Why? I'm like, it's the 90s. Like Goku was popular.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, there's always that that sort of running underlying theme throughout most Japanese media in the 90s of like, oh, Song Wukong's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Like everything is just that.
Yeah. Thanks, China. We'll steal that from you. Another thing.
Yes. Yeah. And we'll just do that over and over and over and over again. Hey, you find something good, it works.
Yeah.
But no, that story is really great. The character development, I think, is fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm still plodding away at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this like what we're playing stuff's gonna be mostly you because I was sick for like a week and a half. Like I was that kind of sick where like it hurt to look at a screen, so I just kind of like laid in bed and put on like some Netflix in the background. Like occasionally rolled over and tried to play Pokemon on my 3DS, but like I bought Sekiro. I haven't played it because like I bought Sekiro and I was like, oh, I should play this game like around release. I was hoping to get maybe a review up for it, but I probably won't do that for like another month now.
Yeah.
But the problem was like I know it's a From Software game. I know what it is. I know what I'm going into. And so when I got it, and like the day after I got sick, and I was like, oh well, I took a couple of days off work so I could play it. But then my mind was just like, I'm not in the mental state to play this game.
Yeah.
I am completely wrecked from this flu. So if I try to do this, it's not going to work. I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to understand it. I need to just leave it. So I just left it there. So it's still sitting there.
Did you install it and everything?
No.
You should do that.
I should do that.
Yeah.
Which I probably will, like today or tomorrow or something like that. But I just haven't touched it because like I haven't been in the mental space because I know I need like a clear head and probably energy and probably at least like an 8-hour chunk to just kind of sink into it.
Yeah.
Because it's not the kind of game where. It probably is the kind of game where once you've gotten used to it, you can play in like 30 or 40 minute chunks.
Yeah.
Like do a little bit a night kind of thing. But I feel like I'm going to need like a whole day to start that game and learn it and get deep into it. And then once I feel comfortable with it, then I can start doing it in chunks.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so it's mostly going to be you. So any other thoughts on Final Fantasy IX?
Specifically for the Switch port, I think it's a kind of a lazy port because...
How so?
They don't incorporate any of the Switch's features. Like, it would be great. Like, this game has already been ported to smartphones. Like, don't necessarily have it to be, like, those ugly touch designs, like, just big buttons and stuff. But just let me, like, tap the thing to scroll through dialogue. Like, just tap the screen to scroll through dialogue instead of pressing A.
Why would you need that, though?
Playing with one hand. Like... Pokemon's like probably one of the best games to play one-handed because you can shift one of the buttons to the shoulder buttons, A to thing, and then you can just do whatever. Final Fantasy 9, and there's that. Do you think touch would be? I don't know, just
yeah. I get what you're saying, but also I'm just
it's not like a integral part, but I'm just like you got like put the budget into it. Square Enix. That's my other problem. This is just systemic of Square's lazy porting to everywhere. Like they just take the mobile version that they made half-assed and just port that everywhere.
I mean, the thing is that this specific remake is not half-assed.
Yeah, no.
It's a once-over HD like remake of this game, and like the UI itself is completely redone.
Yeah.
So like it's not half-assed. It is just a port of the PC version.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, I just don't see the point in putting in anything extra that's like specific to the Switch because it's not the main platform. It's not the thing they want to sell it on.
It's selling well on the Switch.
Of course it will, because it's the Switch. Everything sells well on the Switch. But like everything will sell on the Switch regardless of its feature set.
Yeah.
So like I just don't see like okay, like real talk. Fuck! Don't put effort into the Final Fantasy 9 port when you've got the Final Fantasy 7 remake and a new Final Fantasy to make. Like fucking just do shit. Yeah.
Yes.
Or don't put effort into this. Give me my fucking 8 remaster. Yeah. Screw you bastard. Also, fuck that guy for that April Fool's bullshit. Whatever his name was. Fuck him.
Fuck Ed McGee. There's also stuff like the HD Rumble. It's fucking intense. Like
that's HD Rumble in a nutshell, though.
Is it? Like I've never had it. Like I played Zelda that way, and it was never that intense. Like this is like just fucking.
Because it would be running off of the original coding.
Yeah.
Which I would assume when the Rumble, it's just like, hey, Rumble, full tilt. So it's giving you full Rumble.
Yeah.
Which, back in the day, you could get like levels of Rumble, but full Rumble wasn't that big. But when you're doing full Rumble on HD Rumble stuff, it fucking throws it off. And it's just, no one has, just like any of Nintendo's like weird peripheral stuff, no one's figured out how to use it properly yet, other than a couple of Nintendo studios, like 1-2 Switch makers and stuff like that. So, of course, when that thing is incorporated in any third-party design, it's janky as fuck. Yeah. So, it is what it is.
It was just super distracting because it's so loud, it's so intense.
That's why I always have Rumble off.
Yeah, I like it though, but it's, I don't know. But also, I don't know. I played with the Joy Grip, which is, it's an RPG, I don't need full control. And I didn't want to use my PS4 controller because it is an A/B specific buttons game, I didn't want to confuse myself, which tends to happen. When I play like Yoshi or something like that, I might use my PlayStation controller. Yoshi looks really good. I keep seeing the trailers and I keep getting ads for it. I'm just gonna watch this. It looks really nice. The music's just nice.
Yeah.
I can't afford any new games, which is why I've played old games. Finished Moss VR.
Yeah.
Moss is a really sweet game. Yeah. It is, you're a little mouse running around trying to save your uncle. Yes.
Yeah. Good feel-good game.
Yeah. Oh, it is dark because you...
Yeah.
But, like, it's cute. The world, I think, is realised to what they want it to be. Like, it's a very... It is a storybook game, like, to the point where, like, each chapter is... in between each chapter, there's like the cutscenes are in book forms, like you're reading the book in like slightly moving pictures, and then to do it, you hold R2 to like move the page over.
Ah, cool.
Like you physically turn the page, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. So you're going to the next chapter. The worst part of that is that it just shoots blinding light straight into your eyes because you're in VR, and you're like, oh fuck, like that's maybe turn it down or maybe don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. What are you doing that for? Man, that's weird.
And then the ending is very much like, wait for book 2. I'm like, cool.
Oh, okay, I didn't realise this thing was like, okay, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's no official announcement. I think they're waiting to see
how
if
VR does.
Yeah, VR does, and if there's made enough money back. And I think it has. Like, it's gotten enough critical acclaim and enough people talk about it.
No, well, I was going to say, if the first news story is any indication, then VR's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Which is good, I think. Also...
How long is Moss?
Like 4 hours.
Jeez, okay. Yeah, no.
Nice and short.
Yeah, I continue to be fascinated at the length of VR games. Like, are they 20-minute experiences that you basically like play once and never touch again, or that have like replayability for novel reasons, or are they longer experiences? Like, Like, I just haven't heard a lot of people who are like, I only play Skyrim in VR. Like, no.
That is I was researching around and everyone's like, this is the worst way to play this game. Just go buy the special edition.
Yeah.
Skyrim is probably the longest game.
It would have to be VR as well, isn't
it? Yeah, it is. So
Fallout
who the
4.
fuck knows? There's another game coming up which we'll talk about in terms of length. But then there's also like Astrobot and Moss. Like they are short games. Astrobot's probably 6 hours long. But that's a platformer and it's like nice. And it gets to the point.
Platformer length.
Yeah. It feels very Mario despite me playing not many Mario games. Like, and that's a thumbs up.
Yeah.
But it's super interesting. And like, let's just segue into it. The Iron Man VR game that's coming out. Like, what is like people just played it and like it's good. It makes you feel like Iron Man, but like, is it just going to be like the one? Because I also played the Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, I think that was ages ago. And that is like you shoot a couple webs, you web swing up, and then you watch the Vulture monologue, and then he flies away at the end of the demo.
Yeah, like
that's
that's
bad.
And see, this isn't what I mean. It's such a weird sort of crossover week with news here. It's like. Iron Man game, this isn't what I want. This is not what I want. I don't want first-person Iron Man because that's just a flight simulator. That doesn't make me feel like Iron Man.
Yeah.
What I want from an Iron Man game is Anthem. I want that.
Yeah.
I want that control as Iron Man.
Yeah.
I want to be able to like run him across the thing and jump and then make modifications to my suit as the storyline progresses and like a proper Iron Man game, like a Spider-Man game but as Iron Man. Which I think like Insomniac could do a great job with if you gave them the Iron Man IP and like, you guys make one of these as well. Using this tech that you had in Spider-Man, make one of these. They could do that.
Yeah. BioWare could if their company wasn't fucked from the top down.
We'll get into that. But with Sony's, like with that Iron Man VR game announcement, like also like Iron Man sounded weird.
I didn't hear him long enough to like form an opinion.
It didn't. It took me a second to figure out this was an Iron Man game because like. Even though the Tony Stark they've got like said like, oh yeah, hey Friday, what's that? And there's like all these stuff that like, oh yeah, that's Iron Man talking. He didn't sound right, so I was just like,
You're right, because like when he said, hey Friday, I'm like, wait, what? That's not a thing he says. Oh wait, Friday, the new AI. Like, why not? Mm-hmm. What is this set in? Like, is this MCU game or is it?
I think it's modern, like more modern.
I suppose
iterations of Iron Man. Like Jarvis just isn't a thing at this point. But either way, like the stuff he was saying was like that's Iron Man things to say, but the way he was saying them didn't sound like Iron Man. I think the problem was he didn't sound cocky enough. Yeah, he just sounded like a dude. Yeah. I was like, no. Iron Man needs to be up himself in like the best possible way. Yeah. And he wasn't, so it just rubbed me the wrong way. Also, it doesn't because it's a VR game. It doesn't look as cool as I want. It was just like, it was a really weird thing to start with.
It was a very interesting thing to start the State of Play with. Like, it's...
I mean, it says a lot about what the State of Play actually... Okay, so we should talk about what this is. State of Play. Sony's doing directs now.
Yeah, apparently. Great.
Yeah, sure, why not? They should have done this... They should have done this when they had more... This is a really lame start, is basically my thing. It's like Nintendo Directs... So Nintendo has a really good way of messaging beforehand. Yeah. So when a Direct's going to be big, you know it. Yeah. They will message things ahead of time that don't tell you what's going to happen because they want surprises, but give you the sense of like, oh, this is what this is going to be. Yeah. I can watch this one because there is anticipation. Or they will mark it ahead of time like, oh, it's a Nindies or whatever it is. Yeah. Or it's only going to be blah minutes long and it's going to be mostly focused on blur or whatever the combination they come up with. They will tell you ahead of time what to expect. So when you go into a direct, you're like, cool, well, I'm not going to... Like, the last couple of directs before the Pokemon one, everyone was like, we're going to get Pokemon news? And the answer was no. Yeah. Because they told you out... They never said that this was going... They didn't say Pokemon was going to be there, so therefore Pokemon was not going... Like, they will tell you when Pokemon's going to be there. Yeah. There is no ambiguity when it comes to Pokemon. Yeah. This is a Pokemon direct. Yeah. They give it its own shots, like spotlight. Yeah. So there's always a level set of expectation for Nintendo Directs. With State of Play, it was like, we're going to do this thing, State of Play. And I'm like, okay, if you want people to be interested in this idea, you need to come out swinging. 15 minutes of VR games, Mortal Kombat demo and Days Gone. Nah.
I get that. As someone who has a PSVR, I'm excited to just see that there is more support. And like No Man's Sky getting VR support, like that's interesting. I'll re-download that game and give it a go.
Again, I'm not saying what they showed was bad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that if they were going to do this, they should have given me either a look into a game that gave me a different feeling. So if they were going to do this and have the exact same lineup, and they were going to have Dave's Gone, you needed to show me something from that game that I haven't already seen and that was going to make me want to buy it. Because at this point, I still don't want that fucking game. It comes out the same day as Avengers Endgame, so fuck that game. Like, I don't care.
That's fair. I know a lot of people were sold on it because, like, oh, characters I should care about and like that. I'm like, I wanted to see gameplay, and like we've seen so much gameplay. Then like, I know what you're going for, but I'm just like, there needs to be something. Show me the bike riding mechanics or something.
Yeah,
they keep talking about that. They keep talking about the Sons of Anarchy shit. Show me that.
Show me the openness of this game so far. Because all I've ever seen is like corridor play, like where it's like, oh, you go down to the thing and you do all this little side mission thing, and it's very much a linear path. Show me the open world shit. Show me what happens when I like look across, because I've heard of stuff about how like the weather is really dynamic in this game, so like, you can see a storm rolling in on the distance. Like, show me that shit. Yeah, show me it. No, okay, fine.
Do a stupid like Red Dead Redemption style trailer. Here are the weather effects, and this is how it will impact your game. Slugging through the snow will kill you, and then here comes a fucking grizzly bear.
But the other thing is like, this game just seems so self-serious and boring so far. Like, I kind of want them to do something wacky. Like, show me, what are my weapons looking like in this game? Give me the upgrades. Show me, what's the skill tree? Is there a skill tree? Like, what am I doing? What am I doing in this fucking game? Because at the moment, it seems like a zombie apocalypse movie that happens to be an open world game. Because everything's so self-serious and ridiculous. I'm like, show me what I need to fucking do. If they were going to stick with this lineup, they needed to show me something from one of these games that was like crazy. The Mortal Kombat 11 stuff was cool.
It's so cool.
Mortal Kombat 11 is just great.
That was a great trailer. Like, I know it sold me and a lot of other people. I'm like, oh, this is what the tone of this is? I'll play this for the story mode. Like, just why the fuck not? Like, I have no vested interest in Mortal Kombat besides other people's like intense love of those games. I'm like, okay, cool. But like, NetherRealm, since Mortal Kombat 9 have knocked it out with their story modes, like Injustice 1 and 2 are great. I've heard 9 and 10 are great, so why the fuck not just introduce time travel?
The Mortal Kombat, the Shang Tsung reveal was awesome as well. I fucking love that. I love that movie. It's the best. It's the best bad movie there ever has been. Sorry,
I just want to say, talking about the messaging of some of this, like they did the Crash Team Racing update, like coming with all new update. They didn't tell you what it was, unless you know what the fuck that game is. You don't know what the new stuff. The new content.
I thought the update was. Well, I thought the thing they were revealing in that trailer was the like switch between old graphics, new graphics.
Was that in there?
That's what that was. Like,
or was that a graphics comparison?
Yeah, basically, it was like, here's what it like. I don't know if it was like a full like, oh, you can play it as if it was the old PS1 graphics, because it wasn't that bad. Yeah. But every character was going through like a thing, and there was like a wipe that happened, and they would go being a little bit more blocky and like a little bit less textured and like it looked like there was like some sort of like PS1 mode where they would like flatten out the colors, make everything big polygons.
See, that's the thing. The fact that I'm like, what I didn't like. I know there were news stories afterwards, like, hey, that update is Crash Nitro Kart levels coming to to Team Racing. Cool. And I'm like, cool. What a fucking just put that as a big word on there, like Nitro Kart. Come on, but it's like they also remixed because like it had a bunch of like anti-grav stuff that people don't enjoy. I remember liking Nitro Kart a lot. Yeah, but I also didn't play Team, so.
That sort of like up the wall and like Mario Kart's been doing that for a couple of games now, and it's people like it. Yeah. So like if you do it right, it can be done. Yeah. So if they've tweaked it a little bit, that's fine. Yeah. But yeah, what I was going to say is if they stuck to this, if they were going to stick to this particular lineup for State of Play, they needed to show me something from these games that would actually make me go, okay, cool, I'm going to go play that. Yeah. Or
Mortal Kombat was the closest for me.
yeah, but even then, because like the Mortal Kombat was one of those ones like, well, if you're gonna play that game, you're gonna play that game.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's actually gonna. There's not a trailer you can make that's gonna make someone go like, I don't want to play Mortal Kombat. Oh, actually, no, I might play Mortal Kombat. The Mortal Kombat's a known quantity.
Yeah.
You either play it or you don't.
Yeah.
They either stick with that and give me something new, or they needed to announce something out of left field.
Yeah.
They needed to give me a Last of Us 2 release date. They needed to give me a new trailer on Ghost of Tsushima.
That's the one that could have been there that I think, like,
Or-
what is that? How far along is that? I think, I was going to say, well, they'll do something at D3. They won't.
No.
There will be probably a Ghost of Tsushima Direct. I'm just going to call them Directs.
Yeah. Or it was either that or they give me something totally brand new. Like
And I think that's what the
IP.
point of Iron Man was, to like, hey, Iron Man VR. And that's interesting.
It is, but talk about coming out with a limp dick. Like, it just didn't, like, I get it. Like, I can see where the thought process was.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, we're going to kick this thing off. You know what's popular right now? Marvel. You know what we've got? An Iron Man VR game. You're like, that's a great combination of things in theory.
Yeah.
In practice, it's lackluster at best.
I think maybe they're banking on the fact that Spider-Man was a success. If you can expect that kind of pedigree from Marvel games, it's like, hey, they choose the developers correctly, and you can have just as much fun or the same kind of fun from like Spider-Man and other Marvel games.
Yeah.
Iron Man will tickle your fancy in VR.
Yeah, I'm sure it will in VR, which I'm not sure what the percentages are yet, but I don't think the percentage of people who own a VR is that high.
The recent sale numbers came out, and it's 4 million units sold.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's still like it's 4 million units out of 80 million
Yeah.
plus
Yeah.
PS4s that are out there. Whereas if you made, like I said, if you made the Iron Man game I want to make, I think that's easily 10 million plus units.
Oh, yeah, easily. But I think that's kind of the point of the Iron Man game on VR. It's just like, hey, we're still going to give you really good games for the VR unit.
Yeah.
Like, you will be able to play this. It's not a Vita. We're not putting it out and then letting it die. It's not the initial PlayStation move.
No,
We're
and
putting
that
it out. Like, they're showing support, which PlayStation hasn't done for
Yes.
a peripheral.
And that is very heartening to see them like actually put in the effort for that one, and that's good. But like I said, like they could have had exactly the same thing that they did. I just felt like they needed either one big release date we didn't already know about, or one new game we didn't know about that was bigger than a VR game. There's something that everyone could get excited about.
Yeah.
They just didn't do either of those things, so it was just kind of like this Sony Direct, this Sony State of Play, its first one felt like a mid-level Nintendo one.
Yeah. But it's an indies game. Just happen to have 2 AAA games in there, or 3.
Yeah.
I don't... Yeah.
Whereas when Nintendo does a big one,
Yeah, they go... Yeah.
they go all out. They
Yeah.
hit it out of the park. Like the Direct that did the Switch announcement with like, you know, like fucking Super Mario Odyssey, like just coming out of nowhere with that one. Because everyone was like, oh, well, Zelda will launch and then we'll probably won't see anything for a while. And they're like, no, motherfuckers, we're going to have 2 big announcements, big games in the first 6 months of this game.
It's very... PlayStation this year has to tread the fine line of, we want to show you stuff, and it's not just going to be blog posts on the PlayStation blog, but we also can't come out with a fuck ton of things, because then why wouldn't we just gone to E3?
Yeah,
and then cancelled PSX.
I just think they don't have a lot, because I think it's weird that this has happened, because this hasn't happened in previous generations, where it feels like they're not wanting to show anything for next gen. Because in previous years, like I remember the E3 before 360 and PS3 went dead, a lot of the games that happened that year were actually running or playing on PS4 and Xbox One specs.
Like high PC stuff.
Yeah. And they were basically showing you next-gen games, but saying it was going to be for 360 and PS3. And then announcing...
Wink, wink.
Exactly. So they were doing a lot of that. It feels like this time around they're not wanting to do that. I feel like every game that we have seen that has not yet released will be releasing on the current gen of hardware.
Yeah.
Anything outside of that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
We'll get ports probably of like Last of Us and probably Cyberpunk.
I know CG Projekt Red just said, we're kind of aiming for next gen, just because 1, that'll be when it launches, and 2, it'll look better for consoles. So
yeah. So like, there's some weird stuff there, but it feels like the first time that, because every previous generation they've ended up, before the next generation of hardware is announced, they end up showing a few games from that hardware and makes everyone go, Jesus, that thing looks really good. And because no one's expecting the next hardware just yet, they go, that's really fucking, that looks so good on that 360. And then, surprise, no, it's not running on a 360, it's running on a One.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. This time, like, there's no games that I'm looking at going, oh, that's a next-gen game. Maybe Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite, but that doesn't look like one. It just seems like one.
We barely saw anything.
Yeah, true.
We saw a CG trailer, that was it, so...
What's the other point? Also, E3 hasn't happened. And that's where we get this, like, Ubisoft could show Dreams, Splinter Cell, looking like what Watch Dogs did. Like, that kind of thing. I know Watch Dogs isn't a good thing to invoke, but that's what I'm thinking of in this scenario. Like, I'm not going to do Assassin's Creed, but I don't know, Ubisoft to pull something out of their arse. They always do.
They'll give us something. They usually do. They have confirmed, I think you had that story in there, they have confirmed that they're doing a E3 press conference. Did you have it in there?
No, I didn't put it in there, but
they did confirm they're doing E3.
Yeah, I think it might have been last week or something. But yeah, they're doing
So like now the E3 lineup is what? We've got Microsoft, Bethesda, Ubisoft.
I think that's it, because EA's there, but they're doing tree houses, basically. Nintendo?
Because honestly, what the fuck are you going to say? Anyway.
Is Nintendo there?
Nintendo will be there, but they don't have a press conference. They have the Direct.
Yeah.
So they'll have a Direct,
Yeah.
Which I think will be Pokemon related.
We'll get Pokemon, a Zelda, Link's Awakening update. We'll get that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bethesda's the one I'm interested in.
Oh, Bethesda is the one I was interested in if EA wasn't going to be there, which they're not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's crazy.
I think, because I remember the impression I had of Directs during the Wii U 3DS era was these are just games no one cares about. And also, I had no interest in the Wii U. So I'm like, even if there was a good game like Pikmin 3 or... I know there are other games, I'm not being facetious. But yeah, like those kind of things, I'm like, no. But now the Direct's like, one, I have a Switch now, but like they're also well produced now. But I think this was a well produced show. Like it was paced well. It's just the content of it.
I don't know.
This is the ground.
It felt very mechanical to me.
Yeah.
So the thing with the Nintendo Direct is that they usually have a human being presenting the thing. Starting with Iwata when they first started these things. And his thing was always like the whole point with the Nintendo Direct was that it is Nintendo Direct. Nintendo directly to its fans. I am talking to you. They used to do that thing where they would like do the breathing thing where they're like... It was super weird. They're like, okay.
I think that that's sort of the era I'm thinking of with the Direct. I'm like, that's fucking weird. Like, and then like,
and it was just them. It was just them like trying to be like, we are talking to you. Like they were trying to get that whole point across in a very weird Japanese way of like, yes, we are talking to you directly. And this doesn't feel like that because it was just a voiceover and some panes of glass. And there's no people.
Yeah.
And Sony's been having that problem, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
Because, like, the last E3 press conference was that fucking performance artist weird shit. Like, move around and explore the worlds and fucking... And then the one before that was the one where they were just like, live orchestra, videotape.
Sean Layden comes out every now and then.
Yeah. And then...
Which is basically a Direct.
Basically. But yeah, and then before that, like, they're losing... They're starting to lose the human touch to this.
Yeah.
Which I think... even in this day and age, is still absolutely necessary for any type of pitch or marketing or sales, is the human touch.
Yeah.
And they're losing that when Microsoft is figuring it out. Because they have way more developers on stage. Like, you know, all these different people who make games, who talk about games. They get them from all ends of the spectrum, you know, different, you know, people of color, races, genders, all this different stuff. They try and diversify their presence on stage. Whereas Sony continues to just be Sean Layden every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Which, you know, don't get me wrong, Sean Layden's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's got an authoritative delivery and, you know, he speaks from the heart most of the time. Like,
and the script. Both at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
you can tell that it's both. That's what I mean. But
he's not a public speaker. He's not the kind of person who gets up and does motivational speaking. He reads the script, but he reads the script better than most. I think his delivery is a little bit less robotic than, say, Phil Spencer's.
Yes.
Because Phil Spencer very much is reading off a teleprompter when he's doing his stuff.
But I think He probably also wrote the script. He's just also not the best public speaker. But he's like, he knows he's the face of Xbox, so him being there just helps get the point. It was like, Microsoft cares. We know we're struggling. Mm-hmm. We bought every public developer. We bought all of them. Please buy an Xbox. It seems like that.
The thing with Phil Spencer is that he's always better in like interviews. Yeah, he's better when he's just talking. Whereas Sean Layden comes across as like slightly more human. Slightly on stage. Yeah. Off stage, like in interviews, Sean
Layden... He's in
PR
mode.
Yeah, in interviews, Sean Layden is the same as he is on stage. Like, he's still that exact same. Yeah. So when you get him in an interview, you're like, oh, wait, no, he is a robot man. Yeah. But Phil Spencer is a human. Yeah. So, yeah, there's this weird thing where, like, Sony's just losing that touch of humanity that they had at the start of the generation when they did that thing of like, this is how you share a game. Yeah. Like, they had it. They nailed it. And they've just been slowly losing it over the years. Yeah. So, yeah, the state of play stuff is meh. I hope their next one's better, which I would assume their next one will probably be around E3 time, like the week before or week after.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, because they'll be like, we got announcements. But yeah, E3's like, so it's Microsoft, Bethesda, Ubisoft. Nintendo with the Direct. But...
I think that's it. Like, I don't know about Devolver.
I think they do something every year, but no one really looks at it.
I watched 2 of them. They were fucking weird.
Yeah, I think that's why no one looks at them. Everyone, from what I understand, most of the people send like a journalist there. They take all of the information and they just spit it out at the end. Like, these are the things you need to know because the rest of it was dog shit.
The PC press conference will probably be there. That never seems to go away.
Yeah, and
no one watches
maybe Square Enix has one because they had one last year.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Square.
So Square Enix might have another one.
Square's was horrible last year. Oh, fuck, why did you make me remember that?
Well, this year, I don't know, because Quiet Man 2, that's what we're getting. Oh, yeah, buddy.
No, I can see them doing one in terms of, like, here's the Dragon Age 11 Switch port. We're going to show that again.
Yeah.
Here's... I know there's other stuff.
That Babylon game.
Babylon Falls, yeah.
Yeah, well...
I thought that was...
Something there. Maybe we finally find that... Is that Avengers game? Was that...
Yeah. That's them through Crystal Dynamics.
Is that still happening?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's the thing that was revealed when they literally got the license, so they hadn't even started prep on it. So we'll probably.
So maybe that shows up there. Who knows? There's some stuff that could happen there.
I was going to say Hitman. Rip.
No Hitman. No Tomb Raider.
And no Deus Ex.
No Deus Ex. No.
Oof. No. Oh. Maybe a new IP from the Western side. Maybe.
No, they're killing the Western side. They won't do anything there. Your biggest possibilities are a Final Fantasy VII remake update. Yeah. Not necessarily a release date or anything like that, but just a hey guys, it's still afloat. We might as well move into the Square Enix stuff now.
Oh yeah.
While we're here. But yeah, like an update being like, yeah, this thing's still alive.
Yeah.
If you count being shocked with a electric stun gun every 4 minutes to keep its heart beating as alive.
I think that game is in earnest development.
Of course it is, but it's been in earnest development now for, come this E3, it will be 4 years since the announcement.
And they restarted halfway through, so...
Yeah. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Like, if I was giving them the benefit of the doubt and didn't know about anything in the back end of Final Fantasy VII's remake, I would say that it would be reasonable to expect, given the announcement was 2015, it would be reasonable to expect that it would release in 2020.
Yeah.
I don't think that's... No, not a chance.
Nope.
Because like that's a 5-year development cycle. That's okay, cool. We're gonna we're gonna make a new engine. We're gonna redo the entire thing from the ground up. We're gonna make it as it is, and that's going there. But I think they've already got the engine.
Is it?
I think they're using the Luminous engine, aren't they? Or they're using Unreal because they're using.
I want to say they're using Unreal, but I wouldn't fucking.
Same as Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts.
Sorry, 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3 was Unreal.
2.9.
I want to say it on Unreal, but. I know they've made some weird things. It's like, well, this is on Luminous. Like, why the fuck are you using that broken engine?
It's not, well...
It's really hard to develop for.
It is, yeah. But the thing is, like, the Luminous engine, I think, is gorgeous.
Yeah, no, it can be. We saw Versus look great. Like...
Yeah. I mean, even Final Fantasy 15 looks great. It was just that it wasn't... 15 was... Its problem wasn't the engine. Its problem was the development. Like, they just kept restarting it and kicking it and killing it and then bringing it back to life. And it was like, God... If a development studio was given the chance, like, here's the Luminous engine, make a game, and then it was hands off from there, I'm sure they could make a great game on the Luminous engine. As long as it was, scoped and designed correctly. Because that engine seems to be able to do really good stuff with really big environments.
Yeah. 13 didn't do that. Well, it had big environments, so you just couldn't walk through all of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but like, if you've watched the documentary from...
No clip
on Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
About how Killzone Shadowfall has huge environments. And it was actually them testing for Horizon Zero Dawn's open world. That environment is roamable. You can roam around it if you can bust through the walls that they've put in place. Because the rest of... it's these big, giant vistas and great looking stuff, which you can't walk in because the game corridors you in. If you bust through the coding, you can actually walk around the entire level in the city because they were trying to figure out how to make an open world. I'll bet you could probably do that in Final Fantasy 13 as well. I bet you could bust... Like, if you can bust through the coding and get through the barriers they put in, you could probably walk around that whole thing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, again, that was the Luminous engine on a PS3, and them trying to figure... Like, and PS3 has its own development issues. So, it looks great. And they were never going for an open world game in that game. They were going for a linear story. They transported over to the Final Fantasy 15 map, and that thing is just gorgeous.
I will say, to even count my own self, Final Fantasy 13 2 has open areas, and it still looks great.
And Final Fantasy 13 also is bigger. Like, it's just bigger in general than 13. There's more areas in that game than there is in the previous. And also, like, the different layering of areas. Like, now it's snowy and 10 years later or whatever.
Wow. Now thinking about it, like, they developed that game really quickly, and it does a lot. Like,
there's a lot in that game. So, like, they can do quick turnaround. They've proven that the Luminous engine can do great stuff very quickly and, doesn't need to take forever because only a 2-year turnaround, I think.
To be fair, like, a lot of assets were built so they could...
A lot of assets.
Majora's Mask, sort of. But then, the systems they built... Yeah, no, you're right. Like,
because there's a lot. There's a lot for the quick turnaround. Like, the engine can't be that busted if they're turning around 13.2 as quickly as they did. And there's got to be something there that's really workable.
And then 13.3. I know 13.3 doesn't look as good as the other two, but...
Yeah, you're right.
I just noticed the Tech Foundry... Digital Foundry, they did the graphic comparison of the X version, and this is the one that scales up the least because it just wasn't put that much effort into it.
Yeah, that one has a little bit more. That one's the one that feels the most slapped together.
Yeah.
But 13.2 is like a really, really good game.
It is.
It's a criminally underrated game. But yeah, like I said, it's not the engine that's the problem here. It's the things surrounding the engine. Much like another story we'll talk about later. But yeah, the effects of the whole consolidation from a few weeks ago have started to come through. So, what's that? Naoki Hamaguchi is now co-director of the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yes.
What was he in before?
He was just a main programmer. Like, he started on 12 as just a regular dude programming, and then he worked his way up through pretty much 13, 13.2, 14. He, like, got higher and higher position, like lead programmer stuff. And now, he was... project leader or something like that for 15, and then, like, they just straight up gave him the promotion of... co-director.
Okay, cool.
And I think Tetsuya Nomura said he's very much in the similar position as Tayasue is on Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
Basically, Nomura is the visionary.
Yeah.
The co-director is the dude who gets things done.
Yes.
Sort of a producer. Yeah, sort of a producer, but, like, I don't know, also actually directing when Nomura is out designing Batman figures.
The director who's broad strokes, like this is the crazy vision, and then co-director who's like, we can't do that, stop it.
And co-directors seem to give Nomura, like, those are the people that make the games come out.
Yes.
Like, without Tayasue, we wouldn't have gotten the amount of Kingdom Hearts games that we would have. It would have just been 1, 2, 3.
Oh no, what a shame.
You know what I mean, though, from like a
Jesus, imagine a world where we only had Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3. Fuck, eh?
But like that fandom wouldn't have been what it is. Like the genre just like come back a bunch of we've seen it before and it's been fine. Not genre, that's the wrong word, but
No,
it just would have been a dead franchise that they just brought back out of nowhere.
I don't think that's the yes. To some extent, yes, but also to some extent, like they haven't really created it. What's the opposite of a fandom? Like a hatedom. like a fandom based purely on hate and rage.
That's a fandom.
Like it's not. Like at no point was there like the Kingdom Hearts fandom was like a fandom at Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, this game's pretty cool. Like, it's not the best, but like, no, we like this idea. And then the second they released any other version of Kingdom Hearts, it suddenly turned into this seething pile of hatred and confusion. And that's what Kingdom Hearts fandom has been ever since.
I think you're looking at weird parts of the fandom, but that fandom exists
Looking
nonetheless.
at the parts of the fandom that are most vocal.
Yeah, yeah. I've gone around a long time.
I mean, again,
it's just like
read my review on the website. I love Kingdom Hearts 3. I can't take that franchise anymore.
No, I get it.
I can't. They had the chance to win me back and they couldn't do it with that fucking ending. Anyway.
Yeah. And then what's the other part?
BD5 has now become the third development division.
Which means
Yoshida helming the studio. What is that?
Naoko Yoshida is the 14 Realm Reborn director.
Oh, right.
So they're giving him a large-scale HD title for the next generation.
Yes, he was the guy who came in when Final Fantasy XIV was dying.
Yeah. And
just not working whatsoever. And he was the one that they brought in, and he like this is in the No Clip documentary.
Yeah, it's a great documentary. Please
where he was like, he's just like, I'm gonna bring you like everything funnels through me.
Yeah.
Like I'm the director now. Like grab all your shit, stop fucking around. He funnels it all through him. They basically like. I remember he cordoned off a section of the team and was like, you guys keep the game running as is. And
he kept it good. Like that.
Yeah.
Before Meteor, as it's called now, was good. Like that content got better. Like people were like, holy shit, like this MMO is getting good. Without even like, they did not announce a Realm Reborn. So people were like, what the fuck? And then drops that.
Yeah, then he had the idea of like, let's just do Cataclysm on this thing, but like even at a bigger scale.
Yeah.
When we destroy this world, we're not just gonna like, everybody level resets. It's going to be, the entire world just the whole thing, literally a Realm Reborn, and he was the head of that. He seems to be one of the few people in Square Enix that has the ability to have a vision and see it through.
Yeah.
That's just like, okay, this is what we need to do. This is how we get there, and just whips everyone into line and goes, and let's get it done.
I would say Tabata also, but he left. So
yeah.
15 a weird safe, but he did weird scenario, but he did finish that project. And it was not his own, but like his other games like Third Birthday, Crisis Core were like solid games.
Yes, solid games, but like Yoshida, I think, proved that
you can do it on a grand scale.
Yes, like he's got the biggest scale and the biggest budget and the ability to corral in the rest of the company's issues. Yeah. That was the thing that I think is the most intriguing to me about him, is that he's not only able to finish a game, because like you can finish the game, that's fine.
Yeah.
But he's been able to navigate the waters between corporate and creative and get it working. So that's a really, really good. I hope he's around.
If he's doing 16,
God, I hope it is.
His game's going to be great. Like holy shit! Like if his creativeness and like just what you just said can go into 16, come out next generation, just fucking Final Fantasy 16. Reviews well, sells well, like it seems like it'll be back on track. Like it's been rickety since 12.
Yeah.
Or even 10 too. Since Square Enix formed, it's been rickety.
Yes.
Like, get back on track with a solid lead,
The Square part of Square just doesn't know what to do anymore.
Yeah.
Ever since they absorbed Enix, they just don't know what to do with their old IPs. And they just need someone to come in and just right the ship.
Yeah, and he'll be great. Like, again, Square can put their mitts on stuff, just like, can't do it this way. But, like, he should have enough carte blanche if he made Final Fantasy XIV the second most popular MMO.
Yes.
Like, it only outmatches to World of Warcraft, which what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
which I
he
think,
nailed it. He won.
Yes.
He beats everyone.
Yes, which I think is why I want him in charge. Because like I said, he has... Somehow this man has the ability to navigate the corporate and the creative.
Yeah.
Because he was able to get what he wanted done. And because like again, anyone out there, go watch the No Clip documentary on this thing. Where he talks about how I think he went to the board of directors with like 3 pitches for what to do with the Realm Reborn. And it's like these are the 3 possible outcomes that we can do.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, what do you want? He's like, well, I want to do this one, which was the like reset, rebuild. And he's like, it's the most risky, but it's the one that we can like. It's the one that if we do it right, will right the ship completely. Everything else is just a band-aid fix. Yeah. This is what we need to do. And they agreed to it. Like, I think he even has, like, expresses a bit of, like, I can't believe they did, but they did.
Yeah, Considering what I know about Square Enix's corporate structure, let alone him actually being a lead in that corporation, I can't imagine just do that.
Yeah, So whatever it is that this guy has over them, I'm hoping he keeps on it because, he'll do great.
Stormblood and Heaven's Ward, and there's a new one coming out. I'll scroll up.
No, you're right.
They've all been good as well. Like coming out, they all seem good. I'm like, I want to play I want to play Final Fantasy 14. Oh, it's an MMO and it's like super grindy and the controls are weird and it's like should be played on a PC, but I don't necessarily want to. You can hook your thing up, your keyboard up to a PlayStation 4, but then that just feels weird.
It's all a bit weird.
16 hopefully will be great.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about this?
I want to say something about it.
Say something about it.
So there's been a lot of debate around Sekiro's difficulty. Specifically specifically in respect to From Software as a company as a whole.
Yeah.
About how their games tend to be incredibly difficult. And there are people that are frustrated with that. But then there are people who are... That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
They're there for the difficulty. And so... There has always been a call for From Software to do something about it. This is a real problem. The issue is that everyone always looks at this as these are just people who aren't good at games complaining about how hard the game is. But there are people out there who, because of whatever reason, cannot physically play this game the way it is designed currently. Difficulty aside, because of the way that they generally use the full controller, it's difficult.
Yeah.
In a way that's different.
Yeah.
And so adding an easy mode would allow people who otherwise cannot access this game to enjoy this experience. There are people who think that shits on the integrity or whatever.
Yeah.
And I agree with the general sentiment of no game's ever been made worse because it has an easy mode. Ever.
Yeah.
There's no, none of Wolfenstein is probably the worst example of it. It has an easy mode, but it shits on you for doing it because it makes you you're the baby mode.
Yeah.
But that game's still great.
Yeah.
Even in easy mode, that game is fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it worse.
Easy mode just makes it feel like Doom, which is kind of how
which is what you want.
Yeah.
Which I think the game is better for having an easy mode. No, and they're right. No game is worse for having an easy mode. Now the argument that I've seen around is not every game has to be for everyone.
Yes, that's sort of the boat I'm in. Despite, yes, you can.
I agree, but you should be allowed to choose whether that game is for you or not. Is my stance. A game being made that's not for everyone, that is specifically excluding a certain amount of people for whatever reason, I think is wrong. Everyone should have the chance and opportunity to play a game. All I'm saying with the From Software games is I think that the way they've designed the control system and the difficulty spike excludes a certain number of people who aren't bad at games.
Yeah.
They just don't have the means to play these particular ones physically. An easy mode would alleviate that. I think yes, not every game has to be for everyone, but I think that's more in the vein of genre choosing.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of first-person shooters. That's fine.
Yeah.
That game's not for me, so I won't play that game. But a game like Sekiro, where there are people who like really want to play the game but can't, and the response is, well, the games aren't for everyone. Well, fucking come on.
The thing I've been coming back to is why, like, what makes this. Why can't people enjoy this game when there are like other options out there? Like, it's just an idea. I don't mean this in earnest, but necessarily like Ghost of Tsushima's coming out. Like, that's a samurai game you can just wait up to a year for it to come out, which is a lot. But like, if you're specifically wanting Sekiro for the boss design, for the level design, for the experience it gives you, which it seems awesome, even difficulty aside, like, I get that. What am I driving at? Yeah, I just don't know why people want to play this specific game regardless of talent or ability.
I think the other thing is that people are getting caught up on this specific game. So
I even mean, yeah.
Like what I think everyone's like Sekiro has just been the next. It's the next game in the vector of this.
Yeah.
Of like it's another touch point where we can start talking about it, because what this really is about is that there is a secondary layer to all of the From Software games that is that a part of the game is not just playing it, it is the community around it. The Dark Souls thing where like the story is really obscure and ambiguous and it's in item descriptions and not really there.
Yeah.
But as the game was released and as people were playing it over the months since the release, the community evolves and grows and starts to like piece it together and talking to each other, and there's that weird multiplayer aspect in Dark Souls where you can have different bits and pieces, and that experience is part of what the game is. And if you're physically unable to play that game, then you don't get that experience. And Sekiro doesn't have some of those pieces, but you're right. There is that stuff of like the core idea behind the game, the mechanics, the parry system, the pose, what's it called, posture breaking and stuff like that. All that stuff is stuff that we're not saying to get rid of. We want to keep that in there because that's the core experience of the game. All we're suggesting is that perhaps you make some of those windows a little bit longer for those who may have a disability that impairs them from being able to hit that R1 button as quickly as a normal person would. Or perhaps you design the game with a secondary set of control features that allows someone to be able to play that game with only one hand, like you were saying before. That's a really handy feature. Like, Pokemon Let's Go is one of the craziest things because it actually is it's the first game I've ever heard of that you can entirely play one-handed.
Yeah.
So if you are missing a limb, you are able to play that game and you literally lose 0 experience. So that's amazing. That's incredible.
I know I've read articles with Pokemon Let's Go that because people don't have mobility now, they can't do the throwing mechanic. So that's like where 1 point gains, you lose other points in accessibility, which I think as an industry we're figuring it out. We haven't cracked it because games are so complex. When we do one thing for one set of people with disabilities, it can lose on others.
And I think
nothing's perfect.
I think I saw a tweet this morning about this, about how, and it was basically someone saying that like not all games are for everyone. Have to be for everyone, I think was the exact word. And that sentiment rubs me the wrong way now. I probably used to agree with that to some certain degree. But now that I more think about it, it's like, yes, I agree with that sentiment, generally speaking. But the person should be allowed to make the choice if that game is not for them or not.
Not based on their ability to play it or not.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I think that's what the easy mode debate is coming from, is that like people want to experience this game. Why are you shutting it off for them? Because like it's like not all games are everyone. It's like, no, that argument should be left for people who are saying I don't like Sekiro because I don't like this and this. Not all games for everyone. So this one's not for me. So I'm just not going to play it. That's fine. That argument is absolutely valid. But someone saying, I really want to play Sekiro, but I'm just not good enough, or I just don't have the physical ability to play through all of it, but I really want to know what happens in that story. And I really want to know what it feels like to be in that world. All I need is an extra couple seconds on the dodge timing and I'd be fine. Telling that person to get good is just like, it's such a shitty thing to do. And that person should be allowed to make the choice of like, I want to try and play that game. And it doesn't, and I just think that the argument, it doesn't destroy the artistic integrity of the game to add an extra mode that's easier. Because the original game, as intended, is still there. And can be accessed at any moment by anyone.
Yeah.
That's just me. Like that Sekiro stuff has been pissing me off for about a day or two now. It's dumb.
Not a counterpoint. Just a point I have is there's so many games in the world. There's and they all cost super expensive, like $60+. I guess my point is, why this specific game when there's so many other options for like on so many different platforms? So like, I think the catch up always in this situation is like, well, why do you want to play this game? It's like, well, why does it matter? They want to play that game. Yeah.
Why are we saying no?
Okay.
Like, why are we telling them no, you can't play that game for some arbitrary reason that this thing has to be difficult in order to exist? That's the thing that I'm trying to get at. It's like, yes, there are hundreds of games out there that do the exact same thing. I will say this is one of the very few games in this style and genre. Like, this particular... Like, one of my friends at work has been dying for a feudal Japan video game that is good for years, and he is going to play this game regardless of how much it kicks his ass.
Did he play Neo?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure that he knows that they exist.
Yes, he's playing Neo, he's frothing at the mouth for Neo 2, he can't wait for Ghost of Tsushima. Like, he's the one who's like... He's one of my friends who's like a huge Assassin's Creed fan, and has been begging for them to do a feudal Japan Assassin's Creed since... Two,
yes.
So he's one of those, and he's going to play this game no matter what. But, you know, like you said, like, yeah, there's Neo, and then there's...
Ghost of Tsushima coming soon.
And then there's Tenchu. Like...
Dynasty Warriors.
Like, there's
I get what you mean.
A lot out there, and when people try and... When you keep restricting it down, like, even Ghost of Tsushima seems like it's going to be a little bit of a timing-based thing, so...
Seems like Spider-Man levels of complexity.
Yeah, and I don't think that game's going to be for these people either. So, like... It just keeps coming back to the thing of, like... And Neo is a Dark Souls-like as well.
Yeah.
So, like, when you look at the games in this genre, in this era, it's like, okay... You want to make people want to make the argument. There's plenty of games up there. All right, cool. Neo's a Dark Souls like, so I can't play that. This Sekiro game is too difficult, so you can't play that. I guarantee you, Ghost is going to be like super.
Ghost of Tsushima will have an easy mode though, because it's a Sony game and they always have easy modes.
Maybe. So that's one, and then you keep going down the list of like these types of games from yonks ago, like what Ninja Gaiden and shit like that.
That's also a very good point, because Ninja Gaiden also fucking hard.
Exactly. So you keep going down the list of like, okay, so if there's a person out there with say a disability or and maybe not a physical one, maybe a learning one, or maybe just someone who's not very good at games.
Yeah.
And you're telling them like, oh, there's plenty of games up there, just play one of those, and you go down the list of games
specifically feudal Japan. Yeah.
Exactly. The list is one that isn't even out yet.
Yes. So you have a good point. Yes.
Like it just like I think the argument needs to stop being like, oh, it's going to destroy the game. Like, oh, no games are for everyone. It's like, no, okay, why are we denying access to this particular game for this particular set of people?
Yeah.
Why? And if your argument is artistic integrity, fuck you, because that's not a thing. Like, that's not a.
The artistic integrity is not affected by...
it's not affected by adding an extra mode in top of it. All it does is allow extra people to play the game that, again, it may not be the original vision or intent, but that's it. And there have been plenty of people out there who said, like, it doesn't even need to be an easy mode in Sekiro, specifically.
An accessible mode.
Not even that, like, because the game itself actually, like, even people with disabilities, like learning disabilities or physical ones, would probably be eventually, because the nature of human beings, like, you just keep trying at something, you'll eventually get there.
Yeah.
You know, I went to school with a girl who was an amputee, missing a leg, and she was awesome, but the coolest chick I've ever met.
Yeah.
She has a prosthetic leg. She refuses to wear it because it's uncomfortable. She doesn't like it.
Yeah. That's
so we did this like camp thing once. We were split up into teams, and she was on mine, and there was a challenge where you had to like go across this. It's like a log, and it was like hanging from 4 chains, so it like swayed a lot, and it wasn't very good. But it was like the challenge was like you had to get across the log. And it was quite difficult. Like you had to have pretty good balance. You either had to be really quick and just get across that thing in like a second and a half, or you had to have extremely good balance and like be able to recover and stuff like that. And the challenge they gave everyone was like, well, the entire team has to make it across, and if you make it across, you get like a prize or something. Yeah. And we got everyone across, and then it came to her, and it was like, oh well, what are we gonna do? And she was like, we'll do it. And she just grabbed her crutches, just jumped up on the thing, and made it across. It took 5 minutes, but she took her time, step by step. We all gathered around her so she wouldn't fall off. Yeah. And, you know, kept her stable in that way. But she just very slowly, very calmly got across, like literally one step at a time. Yeah. And it was an incredible thing to watch. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that if you just gave them the time and gave them something that was a little less problematic with Sekiro, they could get there eventually. The point that was made for a lot of people is that Sekiro has a revive mechanic. Yeah. That, if you revive too much, has a penalty to it, which that becomes a problem later on in the game. The suggestion I saw was just like, make that revive unlimited, remove that penalty, done. The game is now suddenly an easy mode. And that's all it needed to be. You could leave everything else exactly as it is. You don't have to change the invincibility frames, you don't have to change the animation, you don't have to change the timing, the health bars, any of it. You just need to give the player the ability to just continually revive so they can just keep plodding away at the same thing and eventually figure it out and get it. And get that same amount of satisfaction the other people do. Yeah. So instead of doing it in one shot, it takes you 10 or 12, whatever. That's all it needs to be done. And there has been people across all of From Software's games specifically, because they seem to be the touchstone of this, where Bloodborne and all the Dark Souls games all have like a simple, I don't know them off the top of my head, but they all seem to have like just one simple like mechanic change that isn't detrimental to the way the game plays and feels. It's just like it's a periphery thing that if that change was made, suddenly this game is a billion times easier. That's all it needs to be. And if that's all it needs to be, I don't see why it's not done. Like it just needs to be a mode, even if it's after release, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's just a mode that you need to put into the game that you don't have to. And that's the thing that I want to say that I wanted to say to the other thing of like, not all games are for everyone. Well, guess what, dude? Not all modes in a game are for everyone. If you don't want to play the easy mode, don't play the easy mode. Yeah. Yeah. What a revelation that is. Like it just rings disingenuous and hollow. It rings like a section of gamers who want to have this thing for themselves. It's like, we're gamers and we need ours. This is ours. Yeah. You can't have it. Okay, fine, whatever. Shitty fandoms are shitty. Yeah.
And Dark Souls and the Soulsborne community is not the greatest. In terms of, it is very exclusionary.
Bad. Yes, it is very exclusionary. But hey, Sekiro, it looks like a great game. I will play it sometime in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll talk about it. Yeah. Let's get on to more fun stuff. Wall Street Journal got a piece out there about Switches.
Yeah, the Switch. There's going to be 2 models coming out soon, probably. The Switch Pro and the Switch Lite. That's not what he called it, but that's what I'm calling it.
Yeah, that's a good way of explaining it. Yeah, it's a good way of explaining it. Like, if you want to kind of visualize or figure out what these might be. A Switch with more processing power. Bets on whether they just call it the new Switch.
Probably new Switch, yeah.
The new Switch, and then Switch Lite would be a really good idea.
Lite invokes the DS Lite, and that's one of the best forms of hardware of all time. Yeah. So looking at a DS Lite, a 3DS Lite rather, or did they just go XL? Okay.
The 2DS is essentially the 3DS Lite because it's basically it's certain things removed. The thing is lighter. Yeah. It is built with a tougher plastic. Like it's the same thing, but that's what the 2DS was. Yeah. Okay. So we've got a Switch Pro, which by all accounts looks like it's a beef in processing power, possibly a better screen.
That's the other thing I've heard, that people are like 1080p screen, it is constantly outputting dock mode on. Yeah, cool. OLED would be cool, but I don't see Nintendo forking out for OLED.
No, it would be cheaper just to get a 1080p LED screen. That's what they're going to do. So that seems to be the way. And then the Switch Lite, which Again, we don't really have details on it. We just know that these two things are a possibility, that they want to do a version of the Switch that is cheaper and... what the wording was, it's going to be a cheaper version of the Switch, and it will be a handheld-only mode.
Yeah.
So there's no details on that, but the speculation is Joy-Cons that don't come off.
Yeah.
Possibly a lighter, like a more plasticky, like durable version of the Switch. So for kids and stuff like that.
The 2DS Dual Stop for Switch.
Yes, yeah.
That's the official name, isn't it? The 2DS Dual Stop.
The what?
The 2DS Dual Stop.
Oh yeah, the stub. Yeah. No, I think it's
just the 2DS itself. The original version looks like a Dual Stop.
Oh yeah.
I was joking. Yeah.
Sorry, I just totally zoned out there for a second. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I remembered, yes, the block of cheese they released with the screen in it. Yeah.
Did you just purge that from your memory?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. No, when I think 2DS, I always get like, ugh. Then I remember that I am looking into a new 2DS XL. I'm like, that would be good.
Yeah, they're nice. They're really, really nice. Like,
Yeah.
and they are like again, like the new 2DS XL is like, it's the size of a 3DS XL, but it's so much lighter.
Yeah.
Like honestly,
Yeah.
I picked one of those up and was like, what the? Is there anything in here? Like it honestly just feels like it's the plastic casing. Like I'm just like, I don't actually know if there's a.
It kind of feels like the PS3 controller.
Kind of, yeah. Like with the weight of the game comes from the cartridge inside it. Like you're like, what is going on? It's bizarre. But yeah, that's the Switch Lite, which like it does raise a bunch of questions. Like if it's portable mode only, can this thing be docked to a TV at all?
At all.
Because it's just a USB-C pass-through that does it.
Yeah.
So like, what's the charging? So like, what money is Nintendo saving by removing the TV pass-through? I don't know if there's any.
Yeah. I know in Japan there's the version you can buy that is just the Switch itself, but you can also buy the dock later.
Yes,
so if you want that, I know a lot of Japan is a very portable society.
The other thing is like, does this Switch Lite then support multiplayer? Because if the Joy-Cons are strapped to it, you can't move them.
Yeah.
If you can sync another controller to it, what's it, someone just looking over your shoulder the whole time?
I see what you mean. Yeah.
And then like, okay, can you sync a Pro Controller to it? So can I put this thing on a stand and then have two other Pro Controllers sync to it, and then it like deactivates the controller? Like, how does this work?
Interesting.
Like the idea of having the controllers just bolted to the side of it, it's really weird because my thought with the Switch Lite is actually, do they change the name entirely? Because the whole point of the Switch is that it can go from portable to docked. It is both in one.
Yeah.
Do they keep the name Switch when this thing is primarily designed for not, like, to be portable only? It's just a weird, like, what are they going to call this thing?
Yeah.
Is my question. And what are they going to do with it?
The Switch Go.
Maybe?
Pokemon Go sold well for them, so...
Yeah. I mean, it's like, and then there's the thought of me that's like, maybe they won't do the thing where they, like, maybe it won't be the Joy-Con strapped to it. Maybe the Joy-Cons can be detached from it still, in some capacity, and maybe they've just reworked that so it's a little bit sturdier.
Yeah.
There's a possibility there. The Switch Pro, again, is the processing power, the better screen. I wonder what that means. I'm hoping that actually is less processing power and more battery life.
You could probably do both, maybe.
Well...
The tech is a little bit old, and I know they're putting more processing power into it, but like...
Yeah, but more processing power inherently means that more power is needed to run it, so draining battery quicker, so they need to put a new battery into it at least.
Does the new DSs have better battery life than the regular DSs?
Yeah, they do.
3DSs, rather. Yeah, so that's more processing power, not a significant amount. And this is not like a PS4 to PS4
Well, the
Pro.
thing with the 3DSs that's really weird is that like they pretty much, like, every year, without telling anyone, they did iterations on the hardware.
Okay.
So when you bought a 3DS XL, say 2 or 3 years after it was released, the battery life in those things was better than the original ones because they just did slight upgrades and tweaks over time. The screens got slightly better, the plastic got slightly better, and the battery life got better as it went along. So they do a lot of that kind of stuff out of the gate. But yeah, that's really interesting. It looks like they're be this year.
Yeah, the report said like by the end of April or May. Or was it March or April?
It was May.
It's fucking soon.
It was soon, and it, like, honestly, again, the Switch Lite makes perfect sense with a Pokemon game coming out this year.
Yeah.
Because Pokemon is traditionally the handheld game.
Yeah.
So, yes, this will be a Pokemon game that will be on a home console for the first time, but there are people who just don't want to do that.
Because the Switch is fairly expensive. So, if that's the thing about the DS, is especially now, you can buy those things Australian, $150 max.
Yes.
Like, that's great. So, if you can, like, just get that sort of audience for Pokemon, if you can get the price down low enough, it onboards the audience quicker, and then you have that model to keep there for the next Pokemon game that comes out, and that hardware will get cheaper by the nature of just the age of it.
Yeah, and it also gives you, like, having different iterations of the hardware gives you way more chances to, like another Pokemon Collector's Edition of the Switch, not as incentivizing anymore. But if it's the Switch Lite Pokemon version, that'd be cool. Because I would think that the Lite would be the Pokemon console, and the Pro would have something else.
Zelda. Link's Awakening.
Yes, something like that. Or some other game that they haven't announced yet.
Mario Odyssey 2.
Yeah. Well, whatever that new Zelda... I don't know if you saw that story, but they're hiring for the new Zelda game.
Yeah, that's not coming out this year.
No. That'll be coming out in 2 or 3 years. But like that's the kind of game that could take advantage of a Pro.
Yeah, easily. Yes. Well,
and I would hope there would be some backwards results as well. Like I would hope that current Breath of the Wild runs better on a Switch Pro.
We'll see.
Again, I'm using the word Switch Pro, but we don't actually know what it's called yet. So this is just what it is. Like I said, like there was
Switch XL,
like the new Switch.
Yeah, that's probably the most likely.
Yeah,
I could also seeing it being completely different. Like Switch Beef or something.
Because they do that. They do that a lot. Like Nintendo's naming convention is weird.
Yeah.
So they could come up with something totally different. Like you could be looking at like the Switch X and the Switch S or the Switch.
Yeah, they can pull an iPhone.
I mean, like in Japan, it was the new 3DS new 3DS LL. Then there was just the new 3DS, and then they'll come up with something.
Yeah.
And it'll be baffling, and we won't have it. We'll be like, what the fuck have you done?
Yeah.
Because that's Nintendo. But it'll still sell like.
It'll sell well.
Yeah, it'll sell like water at the end of the world. And then finally, there were some major Switch leaks out of Best Buy, backed by Wario64. For those who don't know, Wario64, major leaker, has been able to predict and leak like numerous things well in advance. And they have backed this particular leak. We're looking at Persona 5 on Switch. Sure. The Metroid Prime trilogy, which has been rumored for ages.
Again, I'm never sure if that's a rumor or if that's fan demand evolving into rumors. Because that's sort of like, rumors. I'm like, no, I just know you guys talk about it a lot. Like,
I mean, it feels like the kind of thing that, like, ever since Metroid Prime 4 was announced, and people have been hyped for that game, that there's definitely possibly someone at Nintendo going, they really want that game. It's not coming along very well. What can we do in the meantime? Like, throw a trilogy at them, it'll be fine.
Bayonetta did the same thing. Bayonetta 3 was announced, and then 2 with 1 came out. And like for the Switch, I'm like, cool, do that again for Metroid Prime. And like Metroid Prime, I know the first one is such a important game in the context of
video games,
and it's so good. Like I would love to play the first one. I know the next 2 aren't as good, but they're still good.
And
but
in context, and also for Metroid Prime 4, which I think the audience is fairly niche still. Like you're not looking at a wide swath of people. The Metroid Prime trilogy gives the ability to introduce new fans to the series. So when 4 comes out, you've potentially doubled your fan base and doubled your numbers.
It's me. Like I'm a Metroid fan, but I'm not a Metroid Prime fan yet.
Yeah, so that's
I've never
fine.
played them. Yeah. I don't want to go back to my. I never had a GameCube. I don't know the Wii's backwards compatible, but I have to buy a GameCube controller, and that's a whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing's a nightmare. And then A Link to the Past,
which. That's interesting. Like, is that just straight up Link to the Past? Are they also doing a Link's Awakening type remake? Are they? Like, what is it?
There's A Link to the Past. Which one's that?
That's the third game. That's the really big one.
Original. That's not the remake of the 3DS.
That's Link Between Worlds. That's like a spiritual successor.
Yes, right.
Link Between Past is the original Super Nintendo game. I'm playing it at the moment. It's really good.
So I wonder, what that'll be. Like, I guess with the Link's Awakening coming out, there's a possibility that maybe this is it. Maybe Nintendo's finally figured out that Zelda's a really good franchise to bank on. And maybe they'll do a Link to the Past, like Link to the Past in a similar style as Link's Awakening, and they'll just release it next year. Like they announce it this year, release it next year.
It's odd because Awakening is a sequel. It's like the Game Boy sequel to Link to the Past.
Yeah.
I'm like, the fact that they're coming out in like reverse order is a little bit weird, but
yeah.
What they need to bank on is put Wind Waker HD, preferably with Twilight Princess HD on the Switch.
I saw a thing this morning saying that that's most likely happening.
Good.
I can't remember who it was.
Just port it straight up. I also want the 3D games ported up. Just mix that around, but I'm happy for it to like look as good as it does just 1080p. I just want to play Majora's Mask. I haven't played it.
Yeah. It was a tweet. I can't remember where it was from though, but someone was like, "Yes, it looks like that. Those will actually
good." I want to say as well, like people are super interested in Persona 5, not just because Joker is a DLC character for Super Smash, but some people think that Sony has exclusive rights to Persona, and it's just the games that have come to the Persona games that have come to PlayStation just haven't left it.
Yeah,
like Golden is a remake on the Vita, like Persona 3 Fez is a PSP redo on PSP. Yeah. But they're still all the same thing, whereas people are like, but it's a Switch version. A lot of... There's a fuck ton of Persona announcement coming out at the end of the month, so we'll know by then. This could also be a Walmart Canada situation in terms of they're just guessing what's coming.
Yes, there's that too, yeah, which is because a lot of that in Walmart Canada stuff just never came out.
Like Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
Like, there's a bunch of stuff. But there was stuff in there. Like, Rage 2 was... I think that one they had actual information on.
Yeah.
There was a couple of other games that were in there.
I couldn't find it, but yes, I did see a tweet this morning from someone, and it wasn't like a
someone. It was a someone.
Yes, yeah. It was not like a high end, like it wasn't like GameSpot or IGN tweeting it, but it was like some sort of like person that would know shit.
Yeah.
Tweeted and said something along the lines of like, look, that Wind Waker HD remake and the
Twilight Princess remake.
Actually, it might have been the Beastcast last week.
Okay.
I think they might have talked about it. Either way, it looks like those two HD re-releases from the Wii U being ported to the Switch is very, very likely.
I want it to be a collection, but I doubt they'll just sell them. They'll just sell them separately.
They will make money off it as best they can.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move into the big story. It feels like that's how we're going to do this thing from now on.
Yeah.
It's like the big story is the end, so we'll probably cut it off here and you'll get a new part.
Hour 15.
Oh, okay.
What a fucking shit show, eh?
Jesus Christ. All right, so it's been really funny because, like, I thought I was done with Anthem. And if anyone watches Inside Gaming, so there used to be the Rooster Teeth offshoot that was like a news channel for gaming. Then some shitty thing happened with Machinima because Machinima used to own Inside Gaming, and then that whole thing fell apart. So then I think the company that overarchingly owns Rooster Teeth and Funhouse bought the Inside Gaming name, grabbed the no from Rooster Teeth and was like, you don't need this anymore, turned it into Inside Gaming, hired Alana Pierce, and now she runs that. Okay. And then she just runs it with the Funhouse guys. Okay. It's the weirdest fucking thing. Okay. You should check out some of their videos. They're actually really good. Like they've kind of taken this like ability to like They present the news in a really they give you all the facts, all the bits and pieces. They're like 10-minute videos when they do have something big. Yeah. But the editor they've got is fantastic. He's phenomenal, and the jokes and gags and sort of like quick cuts, very YouTube style.
It seems like I saw like one video of a news thing. I'm like, this is weird, but I'll watch it because Alana's in it and she's promoting it. It seems like SourceFed Nerds videos. Remember? Yes. It seems very much like that.
Yeah. So I think the editor used to work for Source.
I wouldn't be surprised. They did close down and they're looking for new people. Yeah. They'd be looking for jobs. And now this, they evolved into now this, I think. Yes. And I'm like, I don't want this company.
But Inside Gaming is very, very good. Their new stuff lately has been very, very good. It's very funny. Like I love. Yeah. They give you the information, but then also the presenters that they use are very, very funny. I've always liked those guys, but I never really liked the Funhouse content.
That's fair, yeah.
But since the No turned into Inside Gaming, I've been watching more of their stuff, and it's been very... They've been doing a running gag ever since Anthem came out, because they did a news story. Obviously, they do news stories on big releases and all that kind of stuff, and they did their story on Anthem, and then because Anthem was such a fucking shit show out of the gate, they were doing updates every day on like, what's wrong with Anthem? What's wrong with Anthem? Like 2 weeks later, they were like, they did a news bit and they were like, wow. And they did like a full story. And then at the very end of the video, they were like, yeah, kind of just like Anthem. And they're like, oh, we almost went a whole day without mentioning Anthem. And then the next news story was an Anthem news story, but they started it talking about something else. And they were like, got you there, because again, it's Anthem, and they just kept going on with Anthem, and they talked like about Anthem every day for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, they've the same running gag across the industry right now, which I think is like everyone kind of is like, I think everyone came to terms with what Anthem is.
Yeah.
Like everyone had like agreed. It was like, there's a 55 Metacritic. Like, the game's shit. There's a kernel of something in there. Don't know what it is.
It's just corn. It's just corn in the shit.
It's corn. But I like corn, so like at some point this was probably something I would have liked prior to its digestion through the bowels of EA.
You're correct. Yes, that is how we are.
And that was kind of how everyone's. And that's the end of it. We're done with it. But every week something else happens, and you're just like fucking. Like, just let it die.
It's... A lot of people compare it to Fallout 76, and I don't do that because Fallout 76's bugs started applying in real life. Like, that's next level shit.
Yeah.
Like, the bag situation, the weird...
The bugs manifested themselves.
Yeah, and like the credit card, like people have access to other people's credit cards. Like...
Yeah, like there was a weird... Like, but Anthem always seems like it's in reverse, where the bugs were in the company and they filtered into the game.
Yes.
And the game is the end result of this fucking shit show of a company.
Yeah.
So, long story short, was it like yesterday or the day before? It was like
yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Which would be what? Wednesday the 3rd of April?
Yeah.
At like 1 a.m. in the morning or something like that. Jason Schreier, purveyor of all knowledge in the video games industry.
Might as well be.
The great and powerful Oz of the games industry. Drops an article, and it's 1 a.m. in the morning Australian time. This is probably...
I think it's like 6 a.m. in New York.
Probably,
I think,
Probably some reasonable time where news articles go up in America. Released an article, kind of, I guess a post-mortem? Or like a what the fuck happened with Anthem?
It's that. Like, it's... Probably his own post-mortem, because I know that they talked about they did their own post-mortems, which is what games devs do.
Yeah.
And then, he just like, I'm just going to tell you what they told me. 19 sources, I think they said 17, 19 sources?
19 different developers who either had worked on Anthem or were working in a studio closely associated to the people working with Anthem.
Yeah.
All of which who had left the company.
Not all of them.
Not all. Some of them were still in the company.
Yeah.
But I think it was a fairly... Like a combination of people who had left the company and were still working there, all of which remain anonymous.
Yeah. There was like one dude who we talked to that wasn't anonymous. Right. Like there was like... I remember reading like, oh, this is said... what's his chops to Jason specifically. And he was retired. He left BioWare. So
I mean, those people are probably more inclined to be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
What are they going to do to me? I left.
Yeah.
This story is a pretty damning indictment, especially in the wake of the layoffs that EA made as well, which I didn't think we get a chance to talk about.
No, I don't think so.
350 jobs.
Yeah.
Gone. Seems to be the trend this year. Mass layoffs at companies that are making record profit.
Yeah.
That are doing quite well for themselves. Despite Anthem's problems, it sold very, very well.
Yeah.
And has made EA a lot of money. And
Yeah.
Apex continues to have all that kind of stuff. Although, Apex troubles, like EA's troubles are now starting to affect Apex.
How so? I haven't seen any of that.
There was a recent bug in a patch which has been causing progress to be lost for players.
That's what that patch was this morning. Because I opened it up and it's like, progress patch fix. I'm like, what the fuck? Because I haven't really been playing lately. Yeah. It's just like, I woke up to that. So it seems like
progress
that's
was being lost, and that's a big deal in a free-to-play game where you are racking up stuff, like where the amount of time you put into the game is actually reflected in what you obtain. Yeah, that was getting wiped. So, yeah. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. That's a big one for one of the biggest games on the planet right now.
Yeah.
And it just seems like whatever EA touches turns to shit.
Yeah.
So you read the article in its entirety.
Yeah.
I read like most of it, skimmed through some bits because it's long.
It's
a lot. Like I am
going to put the links to it in the comment below, like in the description below. Like, go read this. This is a fantastic bit of writing, regardless of genre. Like, it is good. If video games had an industry like standard of like writing, like a Pulitzer type thing, this would win it probably.
Yes, like it's great journalism.
Yeah,
because it's a lot of sources, it's a lot of information, it's written really well. It's like written like a story. Like it takes you on a journey.
And like that's what history is. History is the story. Thus, you can tell the events in a story. And like someone pointed out, like everyone has an agenda, and people's like Jason's agenda is unionization.
Yes.
This fits with his overarching story of like, just fucking don't treat your people like shit. Not hard. Like that's like this fits into that story really well.
Yes. Yeah, it's a fantastic piece. Everyone should give it a read. It's very long, but like I said, it's well worth it.
Yeah.
It's I intend to finish reading the entirety thing, but I read enough to make sure that I could talk about it.
I wrote a bunch of stuff down just for like reference points, but let's just like, talk about the article in general, like why it's fucked up and our opinions on it, because we don't need to recap his article.
No, because it's difficult though, because it's just it's so much.
Yeah.
Like it's because it starts. It starts sort of just like as a general, like, oh, this is Anthem and this is why it's fucked up. But then they kind of retrace the steps of Anthem all the way back to 2012 when it was first like concepted out.
Yeah. And even further back.
And I will refer to one note you've got here, which is the one that when I saw it, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? The name of the game.
I said that so many times reading this.
The name of the game until 2 weeks.
2 weeks, 2 months, I think. I don't know. 2 weeks, 2 months.
Yeah,
it's fucking cutting it close.
It was basically within shooting distance of E3 2017 when the game was like officially revealed. Yeah. The name of the game was Beyond, and then they just word from on high. We can't really copyright Beyond. It's a bit difficult, so we're just not going to. The name of your game is Anthem. Just happens overnight. Yeah.
And that left the entire studio like fucked. I'm like, what does that even mean, Anthem? And then that's why they had to go and like concept out the Anthem of creation, whatever that was.
And like, if you're wondering why the storyline if you played Anthem, you're wondering why the storyline is impenetrable. It's because it was fucking like people didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, and that's the worst part of this. Like, I went and reread the Mass Effect Andromeda post-mortem by Jason Schreier. It is like reading the exact same thing again, except it only has a quarter of the problems that Anthem had. Yeah. Like, it had, like, the game was in pre-pro forever. It only got developed in the last 18 months.
Yeah.
The vision wasn't quite there. The scoping of it. Like, it's just, like, the scoping of it. But, like, it was Mass Effect. So they had a foundation. Like, they could actually do something about it. And that's why this was from the ground up, from the top level, fucked from every position octagonally possible.
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, that part really, really stood out to me as well. Was the how long this thing was in pre-pro and that the whole thing was made in 18 months.
Yeah.
Honestly, given that I know that now, that this game was made in 18 months, fair enough. Like, how broken it is makes sense. Yeah. Because you know what it is? It's a beta. It's the beta version of the game. That's what you get in 18 months is your beta.
Yeah.
Your beta testing.
Yeah.
This thing obviously was not beta tested. It was just kicked out the door. EA continues to do this every single time and continues to not reap any punishment for it.
Yeah.
Because they just keep making money.
Yeah. With this specifically, the deadline of this fiscal year, 2018, has to be out by then. I'm like, oh, that's dumb because they needed more time. But BioWare, 7 years production. That's way too long. And EA is a corporation, and they are one of the most cutthroat corporations.
But also
to the point where but then all that 7 years pre-pro was because they had no fucking idea what they wanted to do. Like that is. I think at the end of the day, it is BioWare's fault because they didn't have a vision and
and I don't know about that because when you look at the again in the piece, there's the point where Casey Hudson leaves.
Yeah.
And he writes that letter saying look, I've done what I think because this thing was originally called Project Dylan.
Yeah. Named after Bob Dylan.
Because they wanted something that the gaming industry would talk about forever, which they have.
That's what Jason. That's his last paragraph. He's just I don't think it is going to be talked about forever, but not in the way they want it.
Exactly. So. He basically said that what he needed to do, the concepting and the idea for it was finished.
Yeah.
But the sense I got from it was that every time they tried to do something, they had EA executives come in and be like, oh, make it a loot shooter. Because it was never meant to be a loot shooter.
No, that's the thing. The way the article read for me is just they go into meetings, talk about how this mechanic should work in terms of like whether it's the birds flapping or the dragons, whatever flapping, and like, oh, we did argue it, and then it just like peters out and nothing happens. Like they didn't come to a conclusion, so no one has a direction to go from there, and no one was making decisions.
Yeah,
because everything was built by committee, and that's not how most games should work.
No.
By the time it became a loot shooter, when Patrick Sutherland came in and said, "This is a walking game. Like you promised me fucking Iron Man. Why isn't that?" And that got rebuilt into Iron Man. And he's like, "Fuck yes, go build this." And that's when they brought in the dude from Dragon Age to executively produce this game. Yeah. Meaning he pretty much directed the game into having decisions. It seems like a Square Enix situation in terms of like, hey, we just pulled someone off a project and just made them finish it, like a Yoshida situation, like a Tabata situation. Yeah. Just get this fucking out the door, but he had 18 months to do it, which is impossible. Yes. So it just seems like no creative vision and what's the word I'm looking for? Cohesive direction, because the whole article is like, we don't know what we're doing, we don't know what we're doing, we don't know what they're doing. It'd be nice if someone told us.
But the thing is, I don't think you can lay the blame of that at all at BioWare's feet.
I blame it at BioWare's leads.
Their leads are probably partly to blame, but like at no point, like EA owns BioWare.
You think you're saying that they should have come in early and like, hey, just get this.
Well, like what have they been doing? I just don't want to give EA a pass on this one.
I'm not giving EA a pass. I'm just saying because like BioWare's not all innocent in this either. That's what I'm.
No, they're not. They've been having troubles ever since Mass Effect 3, and that's what the story is also about that as well. Like, BioWare is a company that is directionless right now and has no idea what it's doing or what it's. Not even just directionless, but like it has no. It's lost its identity. Yeah. It doesn't know what it is anymore, and that's sad and another thing, but like when you're a company and you've got a division that you can, and you've got a subdivision that you're looking at, and this is the problem with this is EA's story whole cloth, is when they've got a company that's in trouble, instead of getting in there and sending someone down there to be like, because I'm looking at that and going, it's been 4 years since they started that Dylan thing. What's happening with that? Yeah. And you send someone in and they're like rudderless and flapping their arms around, and you just send a dude in and be like, I don't know, fucking make it a loot shooter, push it out the door. Like, what is that? That's not leadership. Yeah. That's not helping your company. Because like EA just has a history, and like, I'm sorry guys, like Dragon Age 4, I don't know if that's going to happen now. Like, I feel like that thing's dead.
I don't know if it's dead, but it is the last chance.
I don't think BioWare's going to make it.
We'll see. If BioWare Austin, like that's how the story sort of ends, is that Austin is taking over main production of Anthem. Yeah. Austin worked on SWTOR. SWTOR floundered in its beginning, fixed at the end. Yeah. Like that's another one of those, many examples of that. And it was super popular. And then like if they can fix their own game, and they know how to make online games, because that's the other point, is that like they were butting heads the whole time, because Edmonton only knew how to make story stuff like and single player stuff, and they were trying to create a story single player but with multiplayer attached to it, which is why it's so weird that like your Javelin bunch, everyone's just talking to you and the other ones don't exist. Yes. Whereas like Austin was telling them the whole time, no, that's not how you should write this. Like other players are going to be there, make this more make sense. Edmonton disregarded them because they had the hierarchy thinking of Team A, Team B, Team C that the fans have put on them, but they just adopted it because Edmonton was the original team, the Austin team, and then Montreal, rest in peace. It's just like this, and the whole time they're bleeding developers. Like, people left of their own accord, which at the beginning, and then like as it came down to crunch for 18 months straight, people left, and I'm like, I don't fucking blame you. Like, there's a stress leave. I'm like, that should not be a thing. Like, you should not take a stress break. Like, he was saying like people would take up to days or weeks and then they may never come back. Yeah. I'm like, that's fucking understandable. Like,
the stress leave stuff in that article just fucking was, God, that was rough. Yeah. Just people breaking down in tears in that workplace, and then they just up and leave, and then the question was like, well, he's either gone for people were gone for either 1 to 3 months, or they just left and never came back. Yeah. Like, that's insane.
The other thing...
Like, that's Konami levels of crazy bullshit.
Yeah.
And, like... But that's the thing, is that you've got a company like EA that owns you, that should be able to, I don't know, like, did a HR person not wander through there in that 18 months?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that keeps bugging me about this story, is that, like, yes, BioWare is at fault. There is a lot of stuff here at BioWare needs to get done.
Yeah.
Needs to change.
Yeah.
But also, there's, like, certain, like, I guess, neglect on EA's part, where they've just kind of ignored, like, their duty of care.
Yeah.
Like,
they should be a safety barrier, not a dude holding a gun to your head the whole
exactly.
time.
They portrayed more as they come across as a company that just grabs a developer, holds them at gunpoint, and is like, make a game. Yeah. And it's like, that's not what the publisher-developer relationship should be. I think that's what it's turned into now. Yeah. But it shouldn't be, because the developer should be making a game that makes money for the publisher. Yeah. And therefore the publisher should be wanting that developer to succeed. And thrive. Instead of forcing them to fail. Yeah. Which is what EA seems to be doing. Like the list of EA's studio
casualties.
Yeah, the graveyard at EA headquarters is immense.
Yeah.
And again, it's just one of those things where it's like, I would have loved to have seen EA. I would have loved to have seen Andrew Wilson get up on stage and nervously trying to explain his way out of this one.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get that, because he's smarter than that.
Yeah.
And it just bugs me. EA, I've been watching a lot of Jimquisition videos lately. Yep. Just because I've been pissed off.
Yep.
And this makes, it kind of fits together with this one.
Yeah.
And his whole thing on the EA stuff has been spot on. That company is just, it's a fucking leech. It's just a big old leech that leeches off of everyone else's good name. They have a back catalogue of games they could use. They've got the money and capital to resurrect studios or buy studios and not fuck them into the dirt, but that's what they do. Yeah. And I don't know why.
This was one of my biggest issues. There's so many biggest issues. Is the Frostbite engine. Frostbite, I know has been an issue for BioWare since Dragon Age Inquisition. I knew that. Yeah. Everyone was complaining how hard it was, and Inquisition. From what I've heard from their next two Frostbite games, it's a fucking miracle that game is great, one game of the year, and is loved in the Dragon Age community.
Yep.
So the fact, and the article says that people said we were hoping Inquisition would fail because we built it the same way we made Andromeda and Anthem, and we were hoping that with Inquisition it would fail, so that we'd have to change our structure. Yeah. But the fact that it was critically and commercially well received
killed us.
Every game. And they talked about the BioWare magic, and it's how every game always not great until it all comes together towards the end. And there's so many examples of that happening, The Last of Us, God of War, they're games that they don't look good and they don't feel good until it all comes together. But thing with Last of Us, creative direction from the beginning, Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley.
Yes.
They molded that game into what it was.
Like many games.
Cory Barlog had the vision, yes, I know it's not quite making sense right now, but it will make sense.
Yes.
They just relied on the BioWare magic.
Yeah.
And but they had Casey Hudson, they had the Dragon Age team doing that to put it together. Dragon Age is not
Were the brothers?
For BioWare? Yeah. Oh, the Doctors.
Yeah, the Doctors.
Yeah, I don't remember, but they're them.
Yeah. Because they up and left, and they were part of that team that could make. They were part of the magic. Yeah. And when they all left,
if there's no wizards, you can't cast magic.
Exactly. There's no one.
That's a good point.
There was no one at the helm. That was the thing, is that Casey Hudson left, and everyone was like, "Oh, BioWare's gonna be in trouble," but everyone was like, "Well, no,
there's so many other talented developers there."
It's this weird sort of dichotomy that I think a lot of people are trying to fight against, but I think it's starting to get a little bit problematic in both senses here. Is that there's a part of me that's Cory Barlog didn't make God of War. Yeah. He directed it, but there's teams of hundreds of people that should be given the credit they deserve for what they did on that game. But in the other direction, there is BioWare is the perfect example of a team of hundreds of developers that are really, really good at their job and that have obviously made great games in the past. But the Doctors and Casey Hudson left, and suddenly there's no one steering the ship, and that thing just falls apart. Yeah. You do need that single solidary
leadership.
Yeah, that steers the ship around. And unfortunately, due to the nature of the world, the person that does that is often the one that gets the claim. Yeah. Because they're the ones who will be public facing as well, because they're steering the ship in so many different directions. Yeah. They need to be kind of all over that thing. And like the second Casey Hudson left because he left in 2012.
Yeah.
So at the back end of Mass Effect 3. Once he's gone, you basically can chart the downfall of BioWare.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah. I think...
And now he's back, so like maybe there's a chance. But again, my feeling has always been if EA lets them have a chance, because they're the ones holding the company at gunpoint. If they decide to pull the trigger and bury the company, that's it. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
They're done.
Like, I think Casey Hudson's not... He was the last person to leave of significant importance. And there's a couple of people who died on this project as well, which sucked.
Yes,
like, due to health concerns, not because it killed them.
No.
That we know of.
And that's another thing that adds to the stress of like there are people who probably had emotional repercussions from that, and were just friends and family members who have died, and it's like that sucks.
Yeah.
And then you add on top of like you got to push this game out in 18 months. Like, I can see why the company's bleeding developers.
Yeah. And it's Edmonton. Edmonton's a fucking cold city. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to attract attention when you're like, come to this dying company.
Yeah.
You're not going to get talent. You're going to get people who want jobs, who'll probably be good at their job, but you're not going to get people... Casey Hudson's, you're not going to get the Corey Barlogs, you're not going to get...
You're going to get people who just want a paycheck.
Yeah.
And they'll do it for 3 months and then they'll fucking bail.
Yeah, then they'll go to Vancouver or somewhere.
Yeah, they'll go somewhere else. They'll go literally anywhere else.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, is like, I don't know if EA needed to fire 350 people, because the way it sounded, like, based on this article, they were going to lose 350 people anyway.
Yeah.
Like, those people are just going to quit eventually, because you fucking run a company like dog shit.
Yeah. Like... What studios... That's what I wanted to talk about, with the Frostbite stuff, is that, like, they took all the programmers off who knew how Frostbite worked and put them on FIFA and Battlefront. Like, I get that from a resources perspective, but, like, FIFA needs to run. But so does fucking Anthem and Mass Effect. Like, you can have...
And it's also, like, again, like... This is another thing of, like, BioWare is, yes, partially responsible for what's happening, but also not wholly responsible.
Yes.
Because EA's incessant need to have every game run on the Frostbite engine is just ludicrous. Even Square Enix let Kingdom Hearts run on Unreal.
Yeah.
Like, it's ludicrous. The Frostbite engine, when used correctly and run properly, looks amazing.
But that use and correctness is a shooter.
Literally, that's it. A multiplayer shooter. That's literally all it can do.
Yeah. That's all it was built for.
I mean, the FIFA games are now running on Frostbite as well.
But I don't know. And, like, I assume all their other sports games are as well at this point.
Yeah, it's the realism. It's the realism that they want. But the thing is, like, it's just...
BioWare doesn't go for realism, and so they have to create this entire different assets and system. But then they, like with Anthem, they built all the system. Like, there wasn't even a save load system. Like, they had to build that for Inquisition, and they built it again for Anthem.
And that's the thing, and as well, is that Anthem looks good.
Yeah.
Take a still image, just stand still in that open world. Looks great. The second you move, that thing falls apart.
Yeah.
And it's just, oh, God.
The reallocating resources is not what you need. And, like, every time BioWare asked for, like, because everyone talks to the Frostbite team directly, like, hey, we need help. Mm-hmm. And usually, they usually, like, go on and think, but all the, what's the word I'm looking for? All the priority, that's not it, goes to FIFA and Battlefield.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that it makes sense, but, like, you need the team. There should have been more people on the Frostbite team to help the BioWare team. I know after the Patrick Sunderland thing happened, he got a bunch of people and shipped them over to Stockholm for DICE. Like, this is how you use the engine.
Yeah.
Come back, teach it to everyone. This is how you use the engine. And it's like, okay, like, that shouldn't be the thing. Frostbite, I get it's a great idea. Use one engine. Let everyone talk to each other about, like, hey, you have your own internal GDC press conferences, but, like, for one, engine. And that's clever, but not for Frostbite.
Yeah, I love the idea. I get. They developed their own engines. They don't have to license out the engine. They tried to make it as powerful and as beefy as it can be so it can run anything.
Yeah.
And they're trying to do that. And that's what BioWare was. They were the test bed. Because they knew it could run a shooter. They knew it could run a sports game. Okay, can we get you to do RPGs and action and other stuff in here as well?
No.
And the answer is no. The answer is no.
They succeeded once, but it seemed like that was just... like
it was a fluke.
Yeah.
It was a fucking fluke.
2 out of 3, like 1 out of 3 times is not successful.
Yeah. And like my question is, like, and this is where I'm looking at Dragon Age 4. Is Dragon Age 4 running on Frostbite? Probably. They
say, at the end of the article, it says Casey Hudson's like, we're not going to be running. Dragon Age 4 isn't going to be built from scratch. It's going to be built on the whatever Anthem is. We're going to be building it on the infrastructure of Anthem. I'm like,
that's a great starting
that doesn't distill, like,
Jesus.
If they can pick up the momentum of the last 18 months and continue to develop that, maybe, because it seems like once that 18 months started, it seems like everything, there was hope, like things were coming together. I'm like, I have hope that continuing, like even the internal developers, like this game could have been great provided we had more time. And like
Anthem is just not a good starting place though. Like I'm not like the thing with Anthem is that like the more and more you play it, the more and more it's just like there's nothing to do here. It's boring.
I think that's from the game design, but from like the system, like the save load, from the flying around. Well, I don't think that'll be in Dragon Age, but like the animation systems, all that, they're going to be shifting that over. But I know Anthem has those problems with those issues. Like I know saving and loading is an issue. I don't know, but I assume not everything animates properly.
Oh no!
Yeah, so I'm like,
God no, fuck no.
So like this, it's just going to be.
I just think that like. Casey Hudson coming out, like, this is the other thing where Casey Hudson is back, but I don't know if that's a good thing. Because him coming out and telling me, don't worry, Dragon Age 4 is going to be fine, we're starting with Anthem, doesn't fill me with confidence.
Yeah, no.
Like, I don't care if they have done 18 months of work that will now translate into Dragon Age 4, great, but also, as far as I'm concerned, that 18 months of work resulted in complete bullshit. So your foundation for your new game is complete bullshit. Yeah. So what... And now my question is, to you, sir, what microtransaction will you put in this game?
Honestly, make it Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed microtransactions are perfect.
I just wish they would stop with it.
Oh, yeah, obviously, but...
No, because like, it's been proven. God of War did it. We keep harping on it, and it keeps being said, and it's been 12 months since that game came out.
Yeah.
Pardon me. It's still... the example of, look, there are no microtransactions in that game. There is no DLC. That game is a fully fledged, fully working game out of the gate. I had 2 frame rate issues in that game. I'm running it on a regular PlayStation 4. That game is a full and complete experience out of the box. Nothing extra needed. It sold gangbusters. Why do you not want that? Like, you can still make the games that do the microtransactions. You can still make your FIFAs and your other thing. But what you need right now from BioWare specifically is you need a game that restores faith in your company.
Yeah.
That's what you need. They have not had that since Mass Effect 2?
Yeah.
Because 3 was divisive.
Yeah. 3's ending. I think for the most part, 3, people enjoy 3. It's just the ending.
I think 3 in general is just divisive. For the most part. Because it doesn't matter, like, when you get whether it's the ending or the beginning of the game, it doesn't matter. That game divided opinion.
Yeah.
I didn't decide that.
Thanks.
There you go. That game divided opinion.
Yeah.
So that was the last time, like Mass Effect 2, it feels like the last time that a game released out of the EA BioWare sphere that was just critically acclaimed, publicly acclaimed. Everyone loves Mass Effect 2. It's a great fucking game. I know, I've been playing it recently.
Inquisition. That's the one that this article does point to, and like that. Not as Dragon Age has never been as big as Mass Effect, but it's still got all the acclaim and the sales.
And see, but it got the acclaim and sales, but like I know a bunch of people.
It doesn't have the critical.
Yeah.
Not the critical. The legacy that Mass Effect 2 does.
No, because I know a bunch of people who are Dragon Age fans who didn't like Inquisition.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't know any Mass Effect fan who doesn't like Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
That's
I see where you're going from with that specifically. Yes.
Yeah, that's the difference there. Is that like they haven't had a big success that is just knock it out of the park since Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
And what that company needs right now is one of those.
Yeah.
Just like Sony Santa Monica with God of War.
Yeah.
It had been so long since they'd done anything worth a damn.
It was God of War 3. Ascension wasn't worth a damn. I keep thinking, like, I should play Ascension. Like, I do not
No, you
want
shouldn't.
to.
You really shouldn't do that.
I'd rather go back and play God of War 1, 2, or 3 than play Ascension.
You shouldn't do that either, to be honest, because, like...
I like those games.
They're fine, but they just don't hold up, in my opinion.
I played them after 2010, which is still a long time ago, but still.
I played them in the lead up to 4. They don't hold up. But hey, what I'm saying is that EA continually tries to. They've been trying constantly to get this like games as a service live game thing, so they can just milk money out of people. And hey, here's some business advice. Like honestly, I feel like if EA wants to do if EA wants to make a lot of money,
copy Ubisoft.
Well, no, leave BioWare alone for a while. Just leave them alone. Keep making your Battlefields.
Keep hiring good creative leads. That's a good start.
Keep making your Star Wars bullshit. Let BioWare do what they did before they joined you guys.
Yeah.
Let them make a game that is amazing, that people want to play. Rebuild that trust. But like I said, if you want to make one of those live games, shoot 'em up, road mappy type things, fine.
You've got Apex now.
Yeah, use that. Or go get another developer to do that. You got a billion of them. You just don't fucking use them because you killed them all. Get one of them to do that. But don't bank on... I think the problem is they're trying to use the name of BioWare to sell you on a thing that you don't want to be sold on.
Yeah.
None of us want this. None of us ever wanted this for BioWare. And yes, BioWare's been getting away with... EA's been getting away with it because the BioWare name still means something to some people. Yep. After Anthem, I'm not so sure about that anymore.
It means very, very little. Like, it's kind of Square Enix. I keep comparing it to Square Enix, but like, Final Fantasy's been floundering for ages. They still put out good games, but we know that those games can be so much better.
Yes.
Those games still critically, but like fans pick them apart, and that's fine. Like that's that's the situation. They need to get back, and the dude who put Anthem together in the last 18 months, he sounds like he did it. Like he had the creative, and like if they had an extra year, the game would have come out great. BioWare looter shooter. That's your opinion on whether you want that or not. But the game would have been good. It would have been a 7.
Yeah.
It would have been Division when it came out or something like that, as opposed to being what it is, Anthem, Fallout 76. Oh, anyway,
I think it's worse.
Whereas, like, if he's on Dragon Age 4 and has the proper support and all that, that could hopefully be their return to form. And if Casey Hudson's there putting in creative input as well. Again, I'm not relying everything on him because he hasn't shown me much lately. Ooh. This dude who pulled Anthem together has, so I trust him to an extent. If he can pull off Dragon Age 4,
I think the biggest thing as well though is that you know, in the hours leading up to Jason Schreier's article going up, there was a blog post from EA and BioWare.
It was posted like 2 minutes afterwards or something.
Yeah.
Jason sent them a bunch of dot points, I think he said. Here's what my story is going to be about. Just wanted to give you a courtesy thing. Yeah. And they're like, fuck!
Yeah, and they write a blog post that's basically a point for point, like a counterpoint for everything.
But it's not. They didn't read the article. It's like, we don't believe in tearing down our other workmates, and we don't think articles like this have a place in the industry. I'm like, you did not read this article. It is not about tearing anyone down. It is exposing the work culture that was the development of Anthem. Yeah. That's the narrative. No one's blamed for this. It's the culture that's blamed for this rather than...
No, EA has... No. Like the culture doesn't come from nowhere. Culture doesn't just manifest. Yeah. Culture comes from the executives and the higher-ups and the company that is around it. Yeah. This is not the culture of the industry necessarily. What Jason has been kind of fighting for a while now is, well, A, the culture of the industry, but B, like he's done there's a couple of articles about these specific companies, BioWare and EA have a problem. Yeah. Full stop. Yeah. Specifically.
And they pause 6 months. One would hope you'd be able to sort a lot of problems out in 6 months. Just take like a breather, reset, have some company goals, say like, hey... I want them to get off Frostbite, but if that's EA's just fucking won't budge on that, ask for more help. Actually put in things. Go to, I don't know, business. It's not very businessy, but the classes, lectures, GDC conferences to go and to have conferences with DICE to talk about the Frostbite engine, and then you can figure out how to build an RPG on this first-person shooter system. Yeah.
I'm sure
I just want them to go to Unreal. Just let them go to Unreal. They were doing pretty well on Unreal before.
Yeah. It's a nightmare situation.
And they need to reflect and do this. And they know they have to now, especially since this came out. They need to.
Well, it depends. It depends on the backlash they get. Like, and this has been the issue that I have seen, is that there's constantly this thing of like a lot of outrage, a lot of frustration, and a lot of eyes on the gaming industry in terms of certain things that have happened recently. Activision layoffs, EA layoffs, this story. Generally speaking, just the industry not feeling like it's in a good place right now. Doesn't feel like any of the outrage has really moved the needle for any of these companies.
No.
And that's the problem, is that like I would have like Anthem's been critically panned. It's a 55 on Metacritic or whatever. But it's still sold a fuck ton.
It's still sold, but is that game doing, like, does it still have the player base to justify their DLC plans?
I think it sold 5 million units.
But are those 5 million people playing it? Like,
doesn't matter.
It does for Anthem, because it is an ongoing. They want you to microtransaction the fuck out of it. If they're not getting that, that's the commercial failure.
I understand that, but like the way it kind of works is that like they sold enough units that even if a small percentage of that base is still playing, that's enough to continue like a fairly decent continual game, like a live service game. The problem has always been that the way that capitalism is structured is that the only way that we're going to get these companies to make a shift is if we decide to not buy their stuff. And that's a real problem, because at the end of the day, like, it's a flashy looking game when it first came out. I don't know how many people decided to get refunds. I don't know how many people waited a week and then got it and was like, actually, this thing's not too bad. I don't know what the actual solution is here, because social media outrage doesn't seem to do a lot, because these companies just kind of like, EA just put a blog post out and like, fuck it, we're done with it. Like, they're not going to respond in a way that you want them to.
It needs a Yoshida type of person who can do the balance between the creative and the corporate and just navigate through all that. And then, but Yoshida's very unique, so I don't think that's going to happen too often.
No, and Square Enix is also very unique as well.
They have their own set of problems.
Yeah, and what they were dealing with was an like a very specific type of MMO that we're trying to fix, and like the circumstances. Like, again, I'm gonna plug him again. Go watch that No Clip documentary. It's fucking great. But the circumstances around Final Fantasy XIV are just like the perfect storm of wow. Like it needed a certain thing. But the circumstances around EA and BioWare are just like, I don't know which one goes for. Like, there's part of me that's just like, hey, BioWare, get some money. Get some money together. Pull yourself out. Like, buy yourself back. You need this. Because EA, like, the longer they're with EA, the closer they get to just being shut down. Like every other, like Maxis and every other developer before them. Like every time EA buys a developer, they're like, you literally start the timer. Just start the timer, because at some point they're dead. BioWare's lasted longer than they thought they would.
I would like BioWare to pull a Bungie, but I don't think they can.
I don't think they have the capital.
Or anything, like whatever, whether it's money or legal shit, and like EA stubbornness, like, no, what's ours is ours. You don't. But EA shuts down, get BioWare too. Like, there's the next successor.
I mean, but the thing is, like, you can. There's always a way out of this situation. It's just that, like I said, I think the issue in this front for BioWare is probably going to be money. Do they have enough to purchase themselves back? Because there's, no company's dumb enough to, well, unless they did, be fully purchased by someone without an out clause. But hey, I think that's pretty much all I can say on this, because I'm getting like tired, like angry tired.
I get it.
It's like draining just talking about it.
Because like,
oh man,
it seems like there is an easy fix. Like there's,
it seems so glaringly obvious, but because it's the business world, they can't see it, because they're looking purely at the bottom line. And they give zero fucks about the humans around it. And that sucks.
It needs to. Like, other games have done that, like where their games aren't selling as well, but they still sell well, and then they come back fucking great, and then they sell even more copies. God of War like Ascension did not sell well.
But here's the other thing is that, and then this again, because I've been watching a lot of Jimquisition lately. Like, I don't want this to be the model of the future, because Destiny released poorly and then got better. Final Fantasy 14 released poorly and then gets better, and like Fallout 76 releases poorly and then maybe it gets better. And like, no, just fucking finish your game and get it done working out the gate, you motherfuckers.
Yeah,
that's what needs. Like that's the other problem here is that EA has decided that they don't care if they release a broken game, because they can just release it, get the money, and then fix it later.
Yeah,
and we need to stop. Like, we as gamers, we the royal we. Need to stop rewarding that. Yeah. Of like, oh, your game's not finished? Well, then fuck you. Give me my money back, and then when it's finished, maybe I'll think about it.
Yeah. That's why I probably won't buy Anthem until it's fixed.
That's why I took it back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got rid of it.
That's why I support Apex. Like, I haven't put any money into it yet, but I would. I continue to play that, have the numbers up there, but like, Apex came out done. It didn't start out with season 1, but it gives you the core of the experience. Like, nothing was busted. It worked for the most part. Like, everything was server-side issue, not internal.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I took it back, and I'm, Sekiro seems fine. Yeah. From all I hear, it works.
That's the thing. Like, if they can go back to a single-player game, hopefully that fixes everything, because single-player games have a lot less issues. Yeah. Andromeda is the exception, but they're nowhere near as fucked as what Anthem was. But then also, what's the other point I want to say? Single player. Assassin's Creed. Everyone should use Odyssey as a model for I don't know about open world RPGs.
Yeah.
Why? I'm not sure about that.
It's just a lot.
It's a lot. But that's what you want out of a 100-hour RPG.
Yeah, but I want to.
Assassin's Creed's a little bit weird because it was never intended to be a 100-hour RPG, but Dragon Age is. So if they can just emulate that. And then even have the stupid microtransactions and then premium content.
I think what I'm always looking for in RPGs now is something new and different. Yeah. I don't want the same again. I don't want there to be like, oh, it's just one of those again. It's one of those again. Like, I want something different. Whether that's a mechanic or the way it works, I want something different. Yeah. Anyway, should probably give that a rest. Oh, I think we ran out of SD card. Ha!
Oh, I was meant to delete everything. Oh well.
Ha! Okay, so this will probably be like a fire duck at some point.
At this point, yeah.
Cool. Well, if you did enjoy this, please leave a like below. Remember to subscribe and share. Remember to check out the website. It's just www.theamalgamshow.com.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have the blog feed up now, and that looks nice, because before it was just the whole blog. Yeah. Now we shorten it up to look like an IGN or something like that, where it has little preview of the text. And then the one thing I would like is by author, but I don't think we can do that yet.
That's all right. We'll figure it out. Yeah. Well, baby steps. We've got the website up. I believe Kingdom Hearts review is up. Is the Anthem review up yet?
No, I should post that.
Yeah.
I knew there was something. I know there's a third piece of content.
We'll check the Anthem review. I'm going to proofread your other thing tonight. Yeah. And then I'm going to write another one for the weekend as well. So there should be some stuff up on the website. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/theamalgamshow. We'll figure something out there. I guess the funds from that now will go towards website maintenance and things like that.
Probably.
The extra stuff that we can put on there. And also check us out on all social media at The Amalgam Show. And finally, you can download this podcast, I assume, on iTunes.
And Spotify.
Yay! Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Don't look at the camera.
No, that's habit.